Let's go live. Hey everybody on Facebook. We're about to go live here on our YouTube channel, and I didn't want you guys on Facebook to miss out on a live opportunity because usually we are only live streaming on YouTube and you guys miss out. So hey everybody in YouTube world, welcome to the live stream. We're going to be celebrating. We just made 3,000 subscribers, and we're really excited about that. Looks like people are filtering in now. I'm just letting the people on Facebook know to join us. So here on Facebook, if you're watching, I'm going to just be live streaming from my phone, and you'll be able to see that. But if you really want to see a better show, head on over to the YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, search Homesteady, and you'll find us playing live right now. So YouTube's going to get all the attention here. Hello to YouTube. Thank you for joining us, guys. This is a really, really exciting day because we just reached? I guess that's the way you say it. We just reached 30,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And I am thrilled about that. It's been a really long road to get to this point, and I thought it would only be fair to take a little bit of time and say thank you to you guys. Maybe answer some questions, talk, enjoy the celebration together. So thanks for helping us to get to this point, 30,000 subscribers. We started the YouTube channel really we're going on our third year, I believe now. And it was, we grew, at first it grew kind of slowly, and then we sped up a little bit and a little bit. And, you're always pushing for that next milestone. And this month we started our Do Something Scary series, where we wanted to, push ourselves to do a video a day. And mostly for this next 100 days, the reason we're calling it Do Something Scary is because we're trying to make this work for our family where this becomes my full-time job, just doing homesteady and, content creation, doing the podcast, doing this YouTube channel. So it's a little bit scary doing it and, taking that dive, but also doing a video a day. That's a little scary. That's a lot of work. But we decided, it'd be good for the channel. It would be good for the whole business plan if we dove in and did as much content as we could for 100 days. So we're in the middle of this. We're actually on like day 55 here of the Do Something Scary series. And we are getting closer every day to making homesteady my full-time career, which you guys don't care what my career is. What you care about is the content. Are we going to be able to keep doing these videos? Are we going to be able to keep producing the podcast? If you enjoy the podcast and you enjoy the videos, and you want to see more of that, the good news is we're getting there. We're really working hard. So welcome in YouTube. We're going to be doing a live Q&A, guys. If you have questions that you want answered, questions about the homestead, questions about the farm, whatever you want answered, just go ahead and tag @homesteady in the comments, and that will make sure that we see your question. And if you're watching over on Facebook right now, because I got the Facebook phone thing going on, I'm going to be shutting Facebook down in a little bit because I can't pay attention to 3 different cameras here. So if you're watching on Facebook and you want to see the live stream, head over to YouTube and watch us here on YouTube. So thank you for joining us, guys. And I just need to make sure of one more thing before we dive into your questions. And there it is. I wanted to make sure that the email went out to our email list because I like to give the email list a heads up. If you guys want to make sure you don't miss anything we're doing here at Homesteady, when it comes to videos, podcasts, live streams, whatever we're doing, we make sure that we let our email list know. And to get on our email list, all you have to do is head over to thisishomesteady.com. That's our website. You can find a link here on our channel, and I can add a link to the show notes here. Head over to thisishomesteady.com, and then on the front page there's a button that says Join Us, and that'll take you to our email list. And there, every Friday, I send everyone on the email list all our videos of the week, all our podcasts, and if we're going to live stream, I let them know too. So I've just added that to the show notes below. If you're interested, check out the show notes, and you'll find it there. And now let's answer some questions, guys. Anybody? All right, I already see a couple questions coming in, so that's great. And this should keep us busy. So welcome to Karen, I hope I'm saying that right. Rocks, Fish Magnet, Farmer Brad, Troy S, Tech Ed Fireman, Henry. We got a few different people from the Netherlands watching. Who else? Bobblehead, Homestead, the Texas Boys. Go and check out the Texas Boys channel, guys. We did a collaboration with them about keeping a family cow. My kids who are running the camera are cracking up about Bobblehead Homestead. They like that name. So right now I got my 6-year-old running the camera and my 7-year-old's running the switchboard. Go ahead and change the change a shot for them so they know somebody's running this thing. And if you're watching on Facebook, head over to YouTube because it's a better show over there. So the first question, Farmer Brad asks, Homesteady, will you ever get a Brahma chicken? Brahma chicken. I'm going to be honest, Farmer Brad, I have no idea what a Brahma chicken is. So you're going to have to give me some more details on that one, and we'll answer that later. Next question is Fish Magnet 42, and he asks, what is the best chicken breed? So that's a good question, and let's dive into that one. We did a video yesterday called Don't Order Chickens Until You Watch This. And that video was all about the process of ordering chickens. So if you're thinking about getting chickens, the usual way that you get chickens is through ordering online, through a hatchery, or buying them maybe from Tractor Supply or Agway in our area, a kind of a farm store. A lot of times in the spring they'll have chicks, or going the Craigslist route. And we gave some advice in that video yesterday about trying to shop locally, buying locally, because the closer you buy chicks from you, the less stress on the birds. So if you're thinking about buying some chickens, make sure to check out yesterday's video. It was a really fun one. Kay and me did it together, and it answers a lot of questions. So let's talk about the best chicken breed. What is the best chicken breed? I would say, first and foremost, we have to figure out what are your goals. So Fish Magnet, you asked the question, so go ahead and follow up with a little more information. Let me know, are you talking about for eggs or are you talking about for meat? Do we have an issue with the camera here? Are you able to change cameras? All right, I haven't seen a camera change in a while. Yep. My crew's sleeping on me. Go ahead and change some camera angles. Make this exciting. So Fish Magnet says egg layer. Okay, great. I'm glad you answered that. So now let's get into more of your goals. So you want an egg layer. Do you want an egg layer that's going to be the most prolific egg layer? Are you looking for more friendly chickens? Do you want to have green colored eggs? Do you want to have brown colored eggs? White color eggs? If you're just looking for good production, the Red Star line, I think it's like the Red Star they're called. They're pretty good. Usually you can buy from the bigger hatcheries like the production model of the chicken. We never go for those. We usually go for like a Rhode Island Red. They're always just real steady with the brown eggs. We'll get a few Aracanas, which give you those green eggs. Those are not as prolific layers, but they seem to do better in the wintertime, so that's good. And also, the green egg, it's a little more appealing to a consumer or a customer who's coming to buy a dozen eggs. They see some green eggs, they see some brown ones. We also have some Marin chickens, which lay the dark chocolate brown eggs. So that's fun. If you're just looking for slow and steady production, you can't go wrong with a Rhode Island Red or like a Leghorn. They'll do some nice white eggs. Those are kind of our go-tos for just flock fillers. They're not going to be expensive. Usually you can buy them locally somewhere. The sex-link chickens are another good option for steady production and making sure that you get pullets. So some good options there for you, Fish Magnet. If I don't see any more follow-up questions on that. So yeah, Fish Magnet. Go for those. Those are good breeds. You really, a lot depends on your personal, what you want, what your goals are and what you're trying to get. So I can't, Delinth, I think Delinth is the name. They say the sex links are friendly and reliable. Maybe miss a day a week for eggs. Yes, I've heard they're a really good option for steady production. Farmer Brad talks about how people seem to be more willing to pay more money for brown eggs. And that's kind of a funny thing. brown eggs or white eggs, there's no difference in nutrition. There's no difference in quality. It really has to do with the chicken's diet and the chicken's life. But it's true. Farmer Brad's right. People will, for some reason, people have learned back when all the eggs from the supermarket were just the white eggs, suddenly these brown ones were what you were buying at local farms. So the thought in their head was, oh, brown eggs are better because the local chickens are, producing brown eggs. Well, now you can get brown eggs at the supermarket. They're not any healthier than the white eggs. There's no difference if they're being fed the same diet and raised in the same manner. They're just brown. But people will spend more money with them. And you want to really ask top dollar, you get a dozen, and you get the brown eggs, you get the chocolate brown eggs, you get some white eggs, you get the green eggs, and you make like a nice spectrum or maybe a checkerboard pattern, and you put that out on display. You can ask around here, you could ask $6 a dozen for that, and you'll get it. So I know some of you guys watching never, $6 a dozen doesn't make any sense at all. But around here, we can do it. We can get it. So good to know. All right. I see another question coming out about, let's see. Trav says, howdy, homesteady community. Howdy, Trav. Okay, Farmer Brad talks about they're getting 300 plus eggs a year from them Rhode Island Reds. Can't go wrong with those. And now let's get to Clearly Slim wants to know, what would be your recommendation for a first-timer homesteader looking to raise pigs, breed, sex, 1 or 2 at a time, etc.? Great question. Let's dive into that question. So we have a couple different pig videos. We have a pig playlist. So Clearly Slim, check out the pig playlist. We talk a lot about it. First and foremost, you're going to need to get 2. Don't get 1 pig. It'll be sad and depressed. So forget the 1 pig thing. If you're going to do pigs, you need at least 2. The nice thing is 2 is not too hard to raise. You don't need a ton of space. The infrastructure isn't going to be super hard to do. It's very, very doable. And off of 2 pigs, if you get the right breeds, you can wind up at the end of your year with, 400, 500, maybe even 600 pounds of farm fresh pork. Pigs are an awesome, awesome animal for new homesteaders, as long as you have good infrastructure ready for them before they arrive, because pigs are wild creatures. They're hard to catch, and they're hard to work with if you don't have the right infrastructure. So you're going to get 2. And breed-wise, my suggestion is always this. Get the breed that you can get locally from a reliable pig breeder. You want to look for a farmer who has multiple pigs. He doesn't just have 1 sow and 1 boar, and every year he sells 10 of them. If you can find somebody who focuses on selling feeder pigs. So our source locally here in Connecticut is a guy named Tom Dexter. He is a fantastic source if you're looking to get into pigs. Tom has he has probably 30 sows, maybe 15 to 30 sows at any given time. He's got a lot of sows, and he's got a couple different boars. He's always breeding to improve the pig itself. They are a landrace Yorkshire cross, and from time to time he'll get some Hampshire genes in the mix too. He's trying to get a little bit better conformation on the hams that way, so he does a little bit of crossing. But the pig is traditionally what you would expect out of like a Yorkshire. They're a big pink pig. They're not what you picture like a heritage pig looking like a one of the more hairy pigs like the Tamworths or the Berkshires. But they're a great quality pig. They're a little bit longer, and I love that breed. They've done us good every year. But I would rather you buy locally from a guy who does Tamworths, if you know that he has multiple pigs and he's a guy you can rely on and he does this every year and that he cares about your success. The very first time I went to Tom to buy pigs, I was rearing to go. I was like, I'm ready to get a bunch of pigs. And Tom was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I like selling pigs, but I want to sell you pigs every year. I don't want to sell you 10 this year and then never see you again because you gave up and things got hard. So Tom made sure I had the right infrastructure. He gave me a tour of the whole pig farm, his whole operation. He explained how to do waterers and feeders and everything to make sure I did really good. And he would not even sell me more than like 2 pigs. He was like, I want to really make sure that you do a good job with the first 2. So he made sure we had it down. He made sure we had it right. And that was fantastic. So find a good source for pigs locally. And if they're Tamworths, awesome. If they're Berkshires, awesome. Hampshires, whatever they are, as long as they're not something very rare that the farmer is asking a ton of money for. Like Mangalitsa is the new craze in the pig world. They're those furry pigs. And people are asking so much money for them. And your customers don't care that the pig was furry. They just want to pay a reasonable amount of money for the pork chop. There ain't going to be any fur on the pork chop. So don't get into something weird, something too small. Just try to find a nice sized pig that's going to grow nice, but from a farmer who you can keep doing business with for years. Don't go on Craigslist and get somebody who didn't realize their pig was pregnant and now they're selling a bunch of, feeders trying to do it quickly, because you'll wind up getting an animal that's too small. I've seen people who were sold little piglets like this big. You want an 8-week-old pig. You want the males to have already been castrated, already received shots for worms. You want all that taken care of before you pick up your feeders. And if you do that, raising pigs will be easy. It'll be enjoyable. And next year you'll go from 2 to 4, and the year after that you go from 4 to 8, and you'll wind up where we were. Where a couple years back we raised 12 in 1 year, and every year we've gone up and up and up. As far as infrastructure goes, you're going to want to run water for your pigs with a nipple waterer. Don't have a bucket, they'll destroy it. You want to have really good quality fencing buried in the ground, and the bottom of that fence better be zip tied to a sunken log, because pigs are rooters. And if all you do is put a little bit of woven wire fencing meeting the ground, they'll find a loose spot, they'll push at it with their nose, and they'll be out in no time. Bury your fencing down in the ground. You can use electric. Pigs are really easy to teach electric. The only problem is you need a hard fenced area to teach them in, because that first time they get zapped, they might run right through it, and then you're chasing a squealing little pig around your property, and that is not as much fun as it sounds. It's really fun to watch. It's not as much fun to do. Hope that answers your questions on beginner pigs. If you have any follow-ups, just tag at Homesteady so I can see your question. And we have a really good pig playlist with lots of information you can find more at here. We got a lot more people who've joined us. Welcome to the Brian's here. He says, congrats on 30,000. Thanks, Brian. Brian's been watching us grow for, years here. And Brian's wife does our write-ups back at thisishomesteady.com, the Suburban Escapee. So they've been along for this ride for a long time. Akash, do you sell puppy? No, we don't have puppies right now. I'm not sure if they're asking me that or not. I think, did the Texas boys have a question? Somebody said, good question, Texas boys. I'm trying to spot that. Right now, unfortunately, it's just me today, guys. It was great when we had Kay, because she could look at the questions and make sure we covered everything. Okay, Anthrax says, have you ever thought about quail for meat or eggs? What is your opinion on them?
I wanted a quail once.
My son's saying that he wanted to do quail, and actually he did. We were talking about doing quail. If you're looking for dual purpose with eggs and meat, if that's your goal, you want dual purpose, I want some eggs, I want some meat. Quail are supposed to be the absolute best option available. So, we have not done quail yet, but from what I've heard about quail and what I've seen, they're really good. They grow quick to get to the point where they're laying. They're very prolific layers. The eggs are smaller. That's okay. When you scramble them up, you don't know how big they were, so you can just scramble more of them. And then meat, as far as meat goes, you can skin them real quick, kind of treat them like a chucker, some smaller game bird. So easy to get the meat from, and they're very prolific. So they're quick to meat, quick to eggs, lots of eggs, and a great in-between solution. We have not thought about doing them, mostly because we just don't have, with quail, you can't treat them like chickens. You can't open up a coop in the morning and let them go and then expect them to come back in the evening. You'll never see them again. So with our quail, if we were to do quail, we would need to have like a quail aviary, something that was covered, like a kind of a greenhouse kind of situation, or some kind of chicken tractor option quail tractor that you can move them around. So it's more infrastructure that we don't have currently. But will we ever do quail in the future? I think absolutely. One of the reasons I like to do lots of different things, because we have the YouTube channel and we have the podcast, I like to experience different things so I can actually talk with experience and not just say, oh, I heard they were cool. So it's one of these days we will definitely do quail, and we'll be able to share our experiences with that. But until then, great option. I don't thumbs down quail. We just haven't had the right infrastructure for them. So that's been the case there. Okay, let's see. Oh, camera's down. Just hit start, stop. Okay, looks like somebody's asking, what desktop... Okay, Texas Boys wanted to know, what desktop do you use for editing on? Or editing our videos. Remember, guys, tag at homesteady so I can see your questions. It makes the comments stand out. And if you're watching on Facebook, go over to YouTube, guys. It's a better experience over there. So I don't actually use a desktop to do the editing. I use I have an Apple MacBook Pro that I bought 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. The MacBook Pro is fantastic, machine. It can handle all the editing. We do a video a day. We do a podcast. It's a lot on the machine, but it handles it nicely. Now, the one downside to the MacBook, which is why one of these days I will get a desktop again, is that the MacBook, the fan, is so dang noisy. And when we're doing something like this, a live stream, a lot of times the MacBook's right on my desk, and it's just... Can you go get me a glass of water, baby? Thank you. No, what, Junie? Gotta have a glass of water here. So, MacBook Pro, good way to go. Excuse me. Good because it's mobile. Good because you can, once in a while we'll do a live stream actually outside, and I can take the MacBook right out there and run this quality show from, the apple orchard or something. So that's a really good thing to do. But I will get back to, using a desktop. And looks like someone wanted to know about the editing software. So we use Adobe Creative Cloud for all our editing. So Adobe Video is called Premiere is the program, and Adobe Audio is Audition. So Audition covers the podcast, Premiere Pro covers the YouTube videos, and Adobe Creative Cloud, it's $50 a month for the subscription, and you get all their programs. So you get Photoshop. We used to actually buy the Adobe programs, but they don't even let you do that anymore. So you got to get their subscription thing. But for what I do, this is my entire career. Even when I'm not doing homesteady, what I do for work is content creation. Before we were trying to switch to being just content creators ourselves. Oh my goodness. I get a sippy cup. My crew here is a bunch of jokesters. All right. Clearly Slim wants to know, what is the opinion of the Barred Rock, Plymouth Rock chicken? Never had either of those, Clearly Slim. So if you're looking for, I believe those are a bigger breed. If you're looking for like a dual purpose, some people go the dual purpose route for meat and eggs. We are not big dual purpose fans here on our homestead. We focus on, if we want meat, we get meat birds. If we want eggs, we get egg layers. We don't try to do the dual purpose thing. Egg layer roosters become, chicken pot pie chickens. But in the long run, we just, we try to focus on, what's there. Rewild Farm wants to know, have you ever sold to restaurants? I gotta think here, Rewild. I don't think so. We have...
About pigs?
Yeah, I don't think we've sold pigs to restaurants. We have... Back when we first started, we were looking into it. But some of the restaurants were more picky about their sourcing. We weren't certified organic. We were just, come out and see the property. Our feed is a locally produced, organically produced feed, but I don't need a stamp to tell me that I'm organic. and the places that we were talking to wanted to see stamps. So I don't think we've ever actually sold to restaurants. We've always just done kind of locals through the online, through our website and that sort of thing. We made our sales. So never sold to restaurants. You know, at the scale that we are, it was never really something we needed to do. We were always able to find local people who were interested in buying like a half pig or a whole pig. And if we wanted to increase what we sold, we would sell more retail, but we don't right now. Farmer Brad, do I use network storage for storing video footage? No, Farmer Brad. What I have for storing, so every day we take like 100 gigabytes of video for what we do here. And keep changing screens. The the amount of video we go through is just, I mean, there's tons of video footage. But I have a Apple Airport, I believe it's called. It's a 2 terabyte hard drive that also has it's our wireless router with 2 terabytes of hard drive space. So every day I have a full backup. I have a full backup of all the stuff on my computer getting backed up to that wirelessly. So if my computer were to crash right now in the middle of this live stream, I could go tomorrow, get a new computer, get an exact copy of my old computer, update the new computer, and I'm back in business where I was. So it's storing on my own network wirelessly, but it's not storing like on the internet somewhere else. All right. We got a few more. Ooh, great question. A little change up. Kim wants to know, what have you chosen to do with your kids' schooling? We are a homeschooling family. All right, ready, Kim? What do we do with homeschooling? Okay, ready? Mm-hmm. Wave, dudes.
Well, I'm starting to...
Oh, no, just wave. Oh. So that's one of the major things that we do. If you're watching on Facebook, guys, the camera's falling down here. Come over to YouTube. Search Homesteady. Join us in YouTube.
You're forcing them to go to YouTube.
Yes, because we have a better show on YouTube. Don't bother with Facebook.
Oh.
So what do we do with homeschooling? We do this kind of thing. We do a lot of immersive teaching where they learn life skills, but along the way they learn the other skills. So my son, he can cook crepes all on his own. Me and my wife can sit in the morning time and have our morning coffee, and our son just, we can see him, make sure he's not going to blow the house up. He can do everything he needs to do to make crepes. And while he's learning to cook crepes, he's learning fractions, he's learning math, he's learning reading as he's looking at a recipe. He's learning all this stuff. Aquaponics here in my office. A lot of science there. We're learning about pH levels and acidity and how to adjust the water. And just earlier today, me and my son had our goggles on and our gloves, and we're messing with our tests.
And you can watch that video.
Yep, you can check out that video from last week where we did the water tests. My daughter's learning to play piano, and with piano you get timing. And just yesterday I was asking her what she learned with the piano, and she's learning whole notes and half notes and quarter notes. And I likened that to how a dollar works. I said, oh, so quarter notes, what's that like? Well, that's like a quarter. You get 40. Hey, we got Cody Creelman watching. My buddy Cody. Guys, Cody's an upcoming guest on our podcast. It's going to be a great show. Cody, we have a better show here on YouTube, man. You got to go over to YouTube. Cody always live streams on Facebook, and I got to ask him why. But if you're watching, go search Cody Creelman Cow Vet, because Cody's channel is an awesome look into a totally different world of agriculture, and he's going to be, his story is a fantastic one. I'm excited for that podcast. What's up, Cody? So anyway, with homeschooling, we just focus on very immersive learning. Whatever the kids are interested in, we try to use that as the channel to teach them the necessary things. Now, reading, writing, arithmetic, the basics, basic reading, they say within 100 hours you can teach a kid basic reading. So for things like that, we do, there's a book, Learn to Read in 5 Minutes a Day. I can find a link later and add it to this. But Kay will sit down with the kids 5 minutes a day and go through a lesson. So there is some structured stuff.
I think Mommy just said time to eat. I'm going to go check.
There is some structured learning as far as reading and writing goes, but we do not mimic the public school. We took our kids out of public school because we felt they would learn better like this. So we do not mimic public school in the way we teach them here at home. We let them be very immersed in what they're interested in. Now, me and my wife both were public schoolers, and we made the best of it. And looking back, I actually enjoyed public school. So if if your kids are going to public school, you're not a bad person. We don't think public school is like evil. It's a necessity for a lot. But if you can teach your kids yourself, if you can homeschool, it allows kids like mine who are wild children. My son, we knew the minute he went into public school, they'd be labeling him as, problem child because he likes to run and play. And if he has to sit still for an hour, he goes crazy. So if you're able to adjust your life, like for us, we're fortunate. I work from home. My wife has always been a stay-at-home mom, which means she works 24/7 at home. If you're able to do it, homeschooling is a fantastic way to let your children learn through their passions. And I believe the world that we live in now, children who are creative, who are logical, critical thinkers, who know how to self-teach, how to solve a problem by recognizing a problem, going and finding solutions online, research, and then coming up with answers to that creative problem, those children will fare so much better in this future world that they're going to be adults in than children who are forced to memorize answers to quizzes that then the next day they will forget. We can get every answer to every quiz that ever exists on Google now, but Google can't solve creative problems. Google is not more creative than our children are, and if we allow them to keep that creativity and really help them learn how to be self-taught learners, they'll be able to create value in this, in the market, which means they will never need a job because they'll be able to make money as entrepreneurs, and they won't be worried about all the jobs that automation is going to replace. They won't be sad that there's not a job at the local factory because the robots took all those jobs. So that's our, little bit on homeschooling and what we do. And I won't go too much further into that because I get too fired up. All right, so let's answer another question. Let's see. Ashley says, I won your Leatherman multi-tool during your 5,000 subs giveaway. That's awesome. That was 25,000 viewers ago. And thanks for sticking around this long. So that's great. Where'd the question go? I lost the question now. Okay, she says, what can our family do to prepare now for our homestead while we're looking for the right property in the country? Awesome question. Love this question. And thanks for joining us, guys. We got 50 still watching. If you're watching on Facebook, go to YouTube. It's a better show.
You keep on saying
I know. I got to keep saying new people show up. Cody's still watching on Facebook. Come on, Cody. Get over to YouTube. So you can drop a link in our chat box to your channel, man. Come on. So what should you do if you don't have a homestead right now and you're looking for property? What can you do right now? That's such a good question because everybody can do these things. First off, focus on skills and hands-on experience. Are there local farms that do workshops? Are there local farms that let you, do like temporary working, that sort of thing? Where you can, learn some skills. They're not going to pay you. And honestly, you're going to probably cost them money in the beginning because you're not going to know what you're doing. It's about, exchanging some labor for some education. Those kind of things are a great way to get hands-on learning and maybe realize that you do or you don't like something. Maybe you're thinking you're going to love getting pigs, but then you wind up being like, oh man, I can't stand the smell of pigs. Or maybe you think you want to have a milk cow, but you go and you work on a local milk farm, a day a week, you help them out, and you realize like, ooh, these animals are a little bit too big for me. Or maybe you realize, hey, I love this. I really want to do this. So anyway, you can get some hands-on skills, and then focus on micro ways of doing something you can do bigger later. So if you're in an apartment, if you have any amount of outdoor space, you can start a container garden in a pot, and you'll learn way more growing 1 or 2, 3 pots on a porch than you will reading a book and not getting hands-on experience. So whatever little ways you can learn skills, one excellent way, if you're not against this idea, Ashley, and it's what I did before we got here, I started hunting. And that was a fantastic way to teach me how to butcher, how to, keep meat, how to, right there with that camera there, son?
I'm
Yeah, it's okay.
on the deer.
Oh, there you go. So that taught me how to, take care of meat, preserve meat. Take a drink break here. While the cameraman's falling down. So that was, you learn a ton of skills from hunting that you can then use later on your homestead when you actually are butchering your own animals on your homestead. Growing. You can grow inside. Look at this aquaponics setup that we have over here. We can, hold on. Let's do it with this camera. Use my cough button. So there's our aquaponics setup. If you want to learn a lot about taking care of plants, taking care of animals, right there is the aquaponics setup. It's inside. We got grow lights. Could you put that in a garage or in a basement? Learn about caring for things on a very small scale level, so when you get to your homestead, you will have those skills and the knowledge. And then that's the other thing is, in between this stage of your life where you're not there yet, absorb as much knowledge as you can. And I love YouTube. YouTube is an amazing source of knowledge, but there's half knowledge and half entertainment on YouTube, and you can waste a lot of time on YouTube watching just fun stuff that you don't learn a whole lot from. I find if you really want to learn, I love podcasts for learning, because you can be driving an hour to work and driving home an hour and listening to those podcasts. And there are some incredible resources in the podcast world for, there's episodes of a show that's about one thing, and it's an hour long. And you usually don't watch an hour long YouTube video, which means you usually don't get that kind of in-depth knowledge. But, you listen to an hour long show about aquaponics, you're going to learn something. Or an hour long show about, raising meat cows, you're going to learn something. An hour long show about, permaculture, you're going to learn something. So learn as much as you can, knowledge-wise, through podcasts, through videos, through books. Get as much hands-on experience by helping others out. I know people have offered here before, hey, if you're butchering chickens, I'd love to come and help out, and that way I can learn how to do it. So that sort of thing, letting local farms know that you're available and you'd like to help out. And then doing the little things you can wherever you are. You can always do something small and, inside of your apartment, even if that's the best you can do it. That'll be great. And sometimes there's the option of finding other land that you don't own yet, but maybe it's open land, maybe it's something in the city that's not being used. It's a rooftop kind of situation where you could set up a little garden, and really focusing on just learning how systems work together. That's one of the things I find exciting about aquaponics is you're learning about the fish and you're learning about the plants and how that cycle works together. And if you start learning now about how the cycles work together, that'll help you out when you finally get to your homestead. I'm getting funny faces. Now you have to come say hi. You do. You have to come say hi now. The fans are going to want you to say hello. We're almost up to 60 viewers, guys. This is awesome. If those 3 people on Facebook would come over to YouTube, we'd have a full 60. Okay, let's see. Hey, there's Cody. Cody made it to the channel.
It was like the shark attack. and it was like quiet. And I was like,
Okay, hold on. What kind of knives do you use to butcher chickens/turkeys?
is that all why he came on here?
No, that's not. That's what our pastured farm wants to know.
Oh. I think we're gonna.
1 minute.
1 minute. Hey, that's cool.
These are the knives. I got a Victorinox, and I got a Dexter. And mainly, I like to keep a brown and a dark and then an orange. I keep this one for outside, and that's the guts. So, can we get a close up on this camera, bud? Get a close up on this camera of our knives here. So, one of the keys when you're doing chickens is you don't want to cross contaminate, what's inside with what's on the outside, because what's on the outside is the meat and what you're going to be eating later, and what's on the inside is guts and poop and nastiness. So this is what's used to, take care of stuff on the outside of the bird. That bright orange handle warns anybody that's for inside. You can see the difference in the blades. This one's got a little curve in it, so while you're working on the inside, you're not likely to pop stuff that you don't want to pop. So just a couple different knives. I'm planning on doing a chicken butcher video this coming spring because we're going to be butchering chickens. And those are the two big ones. I also, one of my other favorite knives, which I'll get out of my cabinet here. This is a fantastic knife. This is the Mora. A lot of people love their Mora knives. They're a carbon steel. They're easier to sharpen. They do rust really, really easily, so you got to pay careful attention to that. This one I'm holding right here has a little bit of rust on it. And so, you just got to take good care of your knives. Yeah, that one's not shaven right now. I'm not very good at sharpening knives, so that's a skill I have to get better at. Oh, you got a little hair on it. But these are, you get these Mora knives, they're like, I think $6 to $10. Really good quality knife. Very, very sharp. And they come with a little scabbard to put them in that you can attach to your belt. So I'll add some Amazon links to this video when we're done so you can find those. Those are good stuff. We're almost done, guys. We're going to close up soon. I'm going to answer a couple more questions, then we're going to finish up. Okay, so last few questions are Clearly Slim wants to know if we've ever considered rabbits.
Nope. Well, Jenny was thinking of them.
And then Farmer Brad wants to know about any advice for small YouTube channels. Okay, so those are going to be 2 questions. If you got, we'll take one more question, then we're going to shut it down. So get your last question in, guys, and then we're going to be all done. Hey, Paul's watching on Facebook. Hey, Paul. Paul, go over to YouTube, man. Better show on YouTube. So, small YouTube channels, and what was the other one? Rabbits. Clearly Slim, we have considered rabbits. It keeps coming down to not this year, but we will do rabbits, and I've been trying to get somebody I can do a video and a show on for you guys, because rabbits are, in a lot of ways, better than chickens for meat, because they're easier to process and really, really fertile. You can use their poop quicker than chicken poop, so there's a lot of good benefits to rabbits. So not right now, but in the future we will do them. And last question that made it in here, Farmer Brad's says, any advice for small YouTube channels to grow? So, guys, go now and subscribe to Farmer Brad's channel, because Farmer Brad's trying to grow. So this is one great way to do that. Getting involved with other larger channels, leaving a comment. Farmer Brad is a smart businessman. We have more viewers here in the studio right now. So Farmer Brad is very smart. He produces. Farmer Brad's actually going to be on an upcoming episode of our podcast all about business from your homestead. The guy never stops. He's got really cool ideas. So he does chicken waterers, automatic chicken waterers, and a lot of other different things. He's always 3D printing something new. I love following him on Instagram because it's just cool ideas, stuff that he's coming up with. So Farmer Brad has in the past sent us, free product to show on the channel, and that's always a great way, to spread the message. But as far as YouTube channels go, so advice for small YouTube channels. In the beginning, quality is a little less important than quality. But in this day and age, there's so much out there, you still do need quality. So having some good videos, but trying to produce more good videos than less better videos, if that makes sense. That's a good way to get started, having a lot more things out there for people to find. But I do not suggest you start with like one of these vlog style channels where you're sharing your everyday thing, because just honestly, in the beginning, nobody cares what you're doing every day. And you can change to that when you're a bigger channel. You look at like stuff that, people like the Justin Rhodeses and the Pure Living for Life, they're doing, well, Justin Rhodes more is like a daily vlog. He can do a daily vlog because he's got so many subscribers, so many people want to just see what's going on that day. But in the beginning, nobody's watching they don't want to see you eating breakfast or going to the dentist. So in the beginning, make videos that people are searching for. And that's a better way to get found in the beginning. So our very first really good performing videos when we were brand new were things like, the perfect goat barn layout tour. So we would tour the goat barn and show you the good layout. Or can you please stop crinkling that plastic? That's too loud. Another one that we did was all about using chicken lights. So questions that people are asking that you can answer, and make a really good quality video, do a really good description, and a really good thumbnail. Thumbnails are so important to getting your video more and more popular. So answering questions, talking about things people care about. A lot of smaller YouTube homestead channels I see are covering content that is quite frankly not as exciting to the audience who is not living the homesteading life. So a lot of our audience is not yet living homesteading, and they want to every day see chickens and cows and pigs and green grass. And if all you're doing right now is like what I'm doing, sitting at a desk inside, and that's all your videos are, is like sitting inside talking about like, oh, this week, we were shopping for seeds. That is not as fun for people. So our first videos were all outside, all animals, all livestock. Now, once in a while, I'll do this. I'll sit inside and just do a live stream. We started covering aquaponics, which, looking at the numbers, people were not thrilled with our aquaponic videos. So you'll notice less aquaponics this week. At the end of the day, you cannot beat livestock. For us, just covering livestock and really helpful information, not just like, hey, look, my goats are cute, but like, how do you feed, infrastructure? How do you make money off of this? Farmer Brad, you're making money off your chickens. You're making money off your meat birds. Doing really good videos about that sort of thing. Stuff that people are actually interested in getting answers to their questions. Helpful stuff. Quality, but as much as you can produce at that quality. And really focusing on what people want to see. Not a lot of the DIY stuff I do around here that's like indoors. Nobody watches my channel to see my poor carpentry skills. We remodeled our basement, and that took me a week or two, and I could have done 10 videos about remodeling a basement. But nobody cares. In this channel, very few people care about what I do remodeling my basement. Much more people care about my cow and, and the chickens and that sort of thing. So really focusing in on that stuff. Also, collaborations, working with other people. There's no channel too small to collaborate with. As you get bigger, your amount of time to be able to do that does shrink. So it gets to be a point where you do collaborate only with a certain size channel, just because you can't collaborate with all the collaborations. But in the beginning, if you have 100 subscribers and another guy's got 50, they're probably not the same 50. So collaborating, working together. And honestly, YouTube can be a very frustrating thing, because there's so much unknown about YouTube where you think you got this amazing video and it's going to be awesome and people are going to love it, and you spent so much time on it, and you hit submit, upload, publish, and 15 views? Really? 15 views? I spent 3 days on that video. Come on. And that doesn't ever change, because as you continue to grow, you get used to a different number. Our video from yesterday, before you order chickens, watch this. I was loving that video. I was like, this one's good. This one's going to take off. And it didn't. It just, boop, normal video, which for us is a couple thousand views. And I was like, come on. It still happens where you think something's going to be great, but it just doesn't. So YouTube's a long game. It's a hard game, but it's a fun one. If there are ups and downs, but if you just keep at it and you use YouTube for the right reason, don't try to make your living just from YouTube AdSense. Don't make that mistake. It can be very enjoyable. The best thing YouTube is for is this: connecting you with 30,000 other homesteady people who like to know what you're up to, want to hear what's going on, have questions, have advice, and forming this community of homesteady-minded people. There's no other way that I could have connected with 30,000, and then over on the podcast another 10,000. There's no way I could have connected with that many people all about homesteading any other way. Most people who live around me see what we do and they think we're crazy. They're like, what did you do this week? That's nuts. And I'm sure some of you guys probably think we're crazy too. But more of you guys are wanting to do this, and you're like, oh, I love this and I want to do that, or I did this, or you should try this, Ost. You're doing this wrong, Ost. Don't do that. And the fact that you can bring 30,000 people, and then we're going to next up 50,000 guys, and then it's going to be 100,000. The fact that YouTube can be a tool that helps you connect with 30,000 other humans who love homesteading, that's incredible. That's what I love about YouTube. I actually really do love YouTube. I enjoy using YouTube for that. I like being a part of this experience and getting to do a live stream where there's 50 other homesteaders talking homesteading. We could never have done this 10 years ago. MySpace was not the same thing. And 20 years ago, forget about it. This is just impossible. 20 years ago, I'm still installing septics with my dad, which I enjoyed working with my dad, but my passion was not in putting septic tanks in the ground. So use YouTube for what it's good for, forming that community, getting in touch with other like-minded people, growing the love of homesteading, sharing advice, getting advice, growing. Thank you guys so much for helping us get to this point of 30,000 subscribers. And if there's one thing you can do for us, it's just keep sharing the channel. Keep telling other people about homesteady, if that's on Facebook, if that's on Instagram, if that's face-to-face, because that still works. Telling your friend, oh, you got to see this video. That's how we got here, and that's how we're going to get to 50,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I want to bring my crew in. My crew did a good job today. So let's close out the show, guys. You know what to say, right?
Yep.
If the road's rocky,
make home steady.
Make home steady.
Make home steady.
All right, shut it down, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next week in all our videos.